At 11:45 p.m., the streets of the Old City enter a period of transition. The pedestrian activity of the evening has vanished, leaving the late-night traveler alone with the silence of the architecture. Rahul's route followed this specific path. These narrow passages constrict your vision, hiding what waits around the next corner. Entering Gali number 7, the streetlights stop short, leaving a physical blind spot where a single abandoned house sits in total darkness. The layout of these streets leaves no room for detour. To get through the sector, you are forced into a narrow corridor, bringing you within inches of the property's front door. The silence of that corridor was broken by a specific sound. From inside the locked house, the distinct, clear audio of a woman crying echoed into the street. This creates an immediate conflict. Survival instinct suggests moving away from the source of the noise, yet the moral obligation to check on someone in distress pulls you toward it. Rahul chose to investigate. He stepped off the pavement, pushed the door open, and transitioned from the street into the interior of the house. By crossing that threshold, he moved from being a passerby to an active participant in the house's internal environment. Inside, the auditory evidence of a woman in pain did not match the physical reality. The ground floor was entirely empty, the floorboards covered in a thick, undisturbed layer of dust that hadn't been touched in years. The crying stopped instantly. It was replaced by a new sound, the heavy, rapid thud of footsteps running across the floorboards directly above his head. The house is designed around a central axis. This staircase is the only way to reach the upper level, forcing anyone investigating the noise into a specific, predictable path. Each step up the stairs increased the distance to the exit. As the footsteps continued overhead, the climb necessitated moving further into the enclosed upper floor, far from the safety of the street. The shifting sequence of the sounds, first the ground floor, then the ceiling, pulled Rahul deeper into the center of the structure. As he reached the top landing, the footsteps ceased. The house returned to a state of complete silence. On the far wall of the empty room, he found a single artifact, a dust-covered photograph of a woman. The woman in the photo was the subject of a local murder and disappearance case from 10 years ago, a crime that remained unsolved. Following the police investigation, the house was permanently vacated. The neighborhood avoided the site, leaving the building to sit in isolation for a decade. The sounds Rahul heard were not random. The crying and the footsteps formed a sequence that mirrored the historical trauma associated with this specific room. Recognizing the face in the photo, Rahul immediately turned back toward the stairs to leave the property. On the descent, he found new evidence on the path he just walked. A trail of wet mud footprints now lined the dusty stairs. These marks were wet to the touch, yet there was no one else visible in the house. A physical residue had been left behind by an entity with no visual presence. This moves the encounter beyond a psychological trick of the mind. The phenomenon was capable of interacting with the physical environment, leaving a trail in the real world. The next morning, neighbors corroborated the events. The local community has long documented these specific midnight disturbances coming from the house. Rahul's experience matches the neighborhood's long-standing legend of the midnight echoes, confirming that the sounds are a recurring fixture of the site. This property exists as a permanent fixture in a populated block, sitting silently between active homes. It is a permanent part of the local geography that remains active long after the sun goes down. The anomaly remains in place, waiting for the next person to walk that specific geographical corridor. If you heard that sound coming from the darkness, would you have gone inside?